Okay guys, I am going to quickly give a tutorial on custom settings, custom material settings in Design Space. Um, Again, as with probably most of my tutorials, I see the question being asked a lot in Facebook groups and just wanted to do a quick tutorial to kind of help some people out. Um, when you get your Cricut, of course, there are preset material settings for your machine, but we all know that sometimes we get a material that may not cut all the way through, it may cut too deep, we have to adjust the settings in one way or another. And if you're like me, when you got your Cricut, you thought that your only options were the options that you could see on the dial. But this is going to help you with setting up custom settings for different materials or for the preset materials to kind of, give you a successful cut every time. So in order to access the menu, the set material menu that you see right here on your screen, you have to turn your dial all the way to the left to the custom material setting. Once you do that, and you get ready to cut your image, or in this instance, I'm actually doing a water slide, so I'm doing the print then cut, but it will ask you the material that you want to use here. If you click Browse All Materials, all of the materials that you can cut using your machine will be here on a list. If you click in the lower left-hand corner, Material Settings, you will then see all of the materials and the option to edit those materials. Okay, for this particular tutorial, the question was asked about glitter vinyl. Both HTV and just regular permanent glitter vinyl are kind of across the board difficult to cut and even more difficult to weed. So if you adjust your settings, you can kind of save yourself the headache of having to unload the mat, see that it didn't cut, load it, and try to line it up and that kind of thing, or press the cut button more than one time thinking that that is the most efficient way to double, triple, quadruple cut your project. So I'm going to scroll down to glitter iron on here, and then I'm going to click on edit. Now you can see there's a number, which is the pressure for what or in which you'll be cutting. Then there's a drop down menu that defines how many times you will cut the image. So mine is set to 2 times at 265 because that works perfectly for me. You may have to play with these settings a little bit to get the best cut, but once you do, you can save them and you're able to choose the setting and it cut the exact same way every time, and you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to need a double cut or whether or not you need to leave your mat loaded and try to cut it again, so on and so forth. There's also another option in where you can set up your own custom material period. So in the same menu, I'm going to scroll up to the top so you can see it again, the custom materials menu, if you scroll all the way to the very bottom, you will see add new material. If you click on add new material, I'm just going to call this new material, and save, it's going to insert that in your list of custom materials that your machine can cut. Here you will, add the number of times you want to cut it. You can change the blade and you can adjust the pressure. Now, say if you know that blue Cricut HTV is more difficult to cut than green HTV, or all the other colors cut normally, but one just gives you the blues, no pun intended, every single time you try to use it. You can set here a custom name so that when you're using that material, you know that this is the setting that works best for it. So I just wanted to give you that little quick tutorial because I'm all about creating efficiencies and helping other people out. Another thing that you can do also is you can set favorites using the same menu. So if you were going into the Browse All Materials menu, if you click the little star that appears next to the material, that creates a favorite, and you can very easily get to your favorites. Now, another little tip that I like to use is I always keep my dial on custom. And as long as it's on custom, every time I go to print or cut, it's going to remind me here to set the material. And that kind of keeps you from forgetting that your dial is on vinyl and you're cutting a sheet of paper or vice versa. It can save your blade because you're not doing unnecessary cutting and that kind of thing. But again, it also creates an efficiency, and we crafters like to know that we can get started on our projects quicker and easier than having to do a bunch of unnecessary clicking and walking and moving around the room. So I hope that this helps, and actually my timer for my water slides is going off, so I have to go anyway. But make sure you subscribe to my channel, leave me a couple comments, and I'll keep the tutorials coming. Bye guys!